Why are they doing this? Stop it.
I know.
Stop it.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, just stop. Stop already.
Oh my God. So we know what the NBC Universal streaming app is going to be called. And we know that they're going to reboot Saved by the Bell. They're going to reboot Battlestar Galactica.
They're already doing Punky Brewster.
Punky Brewster. They're rebooting Punky Brewster.
Technically, Saved by the Bell and Punky Brewster would be sequels, not really reboots. But they're calling it reboots, but they have the old cast in it. So to me, that's more of a sequel.
Yeah, but stop it already.
Like, make new things.
Stop it. Stop it. All right, so we're going to talk about that in this video. The Saved by the Bell reboot, the Battlestar Galactica reboot, the Punky Brewster reboot.
The reboot of life.
The reboot of life. Maybe, maybe She-Ra's going to wind up on Peacock too. Who knows? This is the NBC Universal streaming service.
I'm just laughing, but She-Ra ends up on Peacock. Anyway, go ahead.
I didn't think She-Ra liked Peacock.
No, that's what's funny. Anyway.
So before we get into the video, we got a couple of things. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We hit 60,000-ish this week.
Yeah.
We're hoping for 100,000 by the end of the year. Your support has been awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. This is how we get found in YouTube, and we really appreciate it. And speaking of support, if you haven't done so already, we just launched this last night. Geeky's got some squeezy pillows.
They are.
Squeezy pillows if you want.
I have to reorder the first wave too because I'm out.
Yeah, so she's got her squeezy two-sided kaiju pillows. If you want to order those, we'll put a link in the description below.
We have to show the new ones.
These are the new ones. This is Hot Wings and Kevin Zero, or KO, like knockoff.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they're not copyright infringing at all. They are fan-inspired kaiju pillows. All right.
Go.
So we're going to put a link in the description if you want to order those and help support the channel. It would be appreciated. So let's talk about the Saved by the Bell reboot.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we have to. So,
well, today they had a big press conference or whatever it was, and they announced that this NBC Universal streaming service is going to be named Peacock. I'm sorry, I get it. I get it. I do. I get it. But I think that's a dumb name. Anyway.
So are people going to be like, if they get a slam term, be like,
you know they're going to.
Let's see what's on the cock tonight.
You know they're going to.
Oh, I'm watching some cock. I'm going to cock and chill.
Okay, that's enough. I get the idea. But, yeah, so they're going to launch it in April of next year. And of course they're going to launch it, of course, anymore when you have something like NBC, and what are you going to do? You're just going to rape the 80s and 90s because that's all you can do anymore.
Well, with a name like Peacock.
Okay, we're going to stop with this.
Okay, I'm just saying, the upcoming NBC Universal streaming service finally has a name, a launch date, and a plan for several different originals. That's debatable.
Originals? They're calling them original. Okay.
That's debatable. The service is going to be called Peacock after the iconic NBC logo and launch in April 2020. These plans were announced on Tuesday morning, along with a few reboots of popular series that will be coming to the service after its launch. It was already known that a reboot of Punky Brewster was on the way.
It's a sequel because they're getting the same people. To me, it's not a reboot, it's a sequel.
Yeah. The company has made no effort to hide its desire to relaunch The Office. Well, yeah, because The Office basically, made Netflix. Like, people watched Netflix for
Our
The Office.
son, Squid King, loves The Office.
Yeah,
loves Community, loves Parks and Rec. He loves The Office.
So this new wave of reboot announcements revealed that Peacock is also rebooting Battlestar Galactica again. As well, now this is where it gets weird, as well as the beloved teen comedy Saved by the Bell.
Okay, I know why they're doing this, because they did Fuller House on Netflix,
yeah.
And now everybody and their effing brother is going to reboot these shows from the 80s, because they're not reboots, they're more sequels, I keep saying that, but they're all doing this now. And you know what made the 80s amazing? What made the 80s amazing was the originality and all the cool new things that came out of the 80s. All the cool shows, all the cool cartoons, all the cool everything that came out of the 80s. You know, if you just rehash everything from the 80s, you're not cool. You're a copycat. Make new things. Yeah. I don't think anybody's asking for it. You know what? Golly gee, I just hope they redo Saved by the Bell.
Nobody was asking for this. They did the new class and it was like hit or miss. I
forgot all about that one.
Yeah, now I think, isn't Screech in jail or
I don't know.
something in pornos or something? I don't know. Screech is doing bad things. I don't know what Screech is doing these days, but I don't think he's coming back. They said the students of Bayside High are coming back for another round with a couple of stars locked in. So we got Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley. So we have Slater and Jesse. Of course, we're going to have Zach. And other original stars are also in talks with NBC Universal to reprise their classic roles. Now, Lisa looks really weird now. She's had a lot of plastic surgery, and I'm pretty sure she's white.
Really?
Yeah, she's had a lot of work done and it didn't go very well. And I think Screech is in jail and or pornos or both.
I don't even know. But
he's in a lot of trouble.
So the new series is going to take place in present day. No kidding. Zack is now the acting governor of California. Of course he is.
God.
And after getting into hot water because, oh, Zack, there you go again. For closing too many low-income schools, he introduced a proposal that sends the students from those closed schools to the highest performing institution in the state, including Bayside High.
Well, if it's like California, when I lived in California, highest performing would be, like 55 is passing.
It's California.
The schools are overcrowded, but geez, when I was there in the 90s, they had like 35 kids in the classroom.
Yeah, when I went to school, if anything below 75 was failing. I mean, it was really strict. So they're saying these new students are going to get, these privileged kids at Bayside are going to get a bit of reality with these low income school, so they're going to stereotype the hell out of this.
Oh God, it's going to be woke.
Slater and Jesse are going to be parents. I'm sure they're married and have kids.
Oh, you know what would be hilarious though, is if it was like the Brady Bunch movie, where you had this like the Brady Bunch lived in this like little bubble in LA, and then they leave their house. And it's like a ghetto, but they're actually in this little like
protected
protected
bubble. Put on your Sunday
bubble.
best kids are going to Sears. Anyway,
so they've got all these kids from Bayside High doing the '90s thing, and
they're
whatever,
not going to do that. But I'm just like, okay, who was asking for this? I mean, I can see people asking for this before I can see them asking for Punky Brewster, though. I'm like, because Punky Brewster was very much a product of its time. It is not one that I think will translate well.
No.
It's called Punky Brewster because punk was then. It's not gonna translate to now.
Well, I mean, you could make an X-rated version of Punky Brewster and call it Spunky Spewster. That might actually get some, but you'd have to pay for that one though, extra.
What is it with you and all the dirty jokes?
I don't know. It's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning. That's even worse. What is wrong with you two? What is wrong with you? Anyway, so really, that's what you can. That's your comment of Punky Brewster.
No, I'm just saying.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know if you're gonna.
She was a kid.
But now she's not. It's streaming. It's basically pay-per-view.
I mean, you really.
If they're gonna go all adult with these, then just go all in, man.
You're watch our show at work because it's not safe for work because Neon can't stop making pervy jokes all the time. People are like you're some kind of weirdo that walks around in a trench coat.
I am, but I did used to have a trench coat.
I know.
So I just look. So Zack Morris gonna be the Trump stand-in. Is that what we're gonna do? He's gonna be the Arnold Schwarzenegger Trump. So he conned his way into office. Is that?
Well, probably because he conned his way into everything in that show, which you were talking about. You want to show them the fun.
So this
I didn't even know about.
I enjoy this immensely. I actually do watch this. They have them on Facebook too. Zack Morris is trash. If you haven't seen Zack Morris is trash, do yourself a favor. Go watch Zack Morris is trash. It's on Funny or Die. It's also on Facebook because Zack Morris, when you break it down, he is a trash human. He's a trash human who's all about Zack. He throws his friends under the wheels of the bus. So yeah, he would make a fantastic politician.
Yeah, well, let's look at this. The time Zack Morris stabbed Screech in the back to hook up with Lisa. I like the one down here. The time Zack Morris cloned himself to cheat on his girlfriend at her birthday party.
Look, Screech looks like Trump.
The time Zack Morris stole a dog, then slaughtered countless ants.
The time Zack Morris impersonated a woman to abuse his best friend. Oh, Trap Zack. No. Zack Morris unleashed a plague of rodents. He committed international kidnapping to fix a chess game. Somebody's got to put... You know what would be hilarious and very meta is if somebody has a website out there in the reboot actually called Zack Morris's Trash. And it's like all of the governor's misdeeds. Like, here's the time Zack Morris cheated on his best friends with his best friend's wife, and then he had somebody killed. Here's the time Zack Morris closed all the low-income schools.
Hey, there you go.
And sent everyone to bed. So is he going to be on it like regular? Like, why would you have the governor on the show like every week? Like, the governor's just hanging out at the high school. What the hell?
They probably won't. That's why, I don't know.
They can only afford him one appearance because he got really expensive. God, this is just, yeah. So, it's not just Saved by the Bell that's being given the makeover.
And not just Punky Brewster, not Neon's version of Punky Brewster.
Not Spunky Spewster, but Battlestar Galactica reboot.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're bringing Battlestar Galactica back. Now, I know...
Battlestar Galactica back.
It's
bringing like a tongue twister.
Battlestar Galactica back.
There you go.
There we go.
You got it out. There you go. Good job.
We're gonna get that out there. We're gonna whip it out. So Battlestar Galactica.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just going with the theme. It's called Peacock.
Stop.
Oh my God! Wouldn't that be the best tagline ever? Peacock, whip it out.
Stop! Okay, I mean it now. Stop. Anyway, good.
So, Battlestar Galactica is, all this has happened before, all happened again. It all happened in the 2000s in the sci-fi version, which I actually did like. I know some classic Battlestar Galactica fans did not like it because it was very far removed from the original, but for what it was, I thought it was pretty good.
I grew up watching the original and reruns with my dad.
Yeah, it was, look, the original was a Star Wars knockoff. It was what it was, but it was good for TV in the late 70s, early 80s, it was pretty good. And I did like the reboot. I'm really ass mad that they canceled Caprica, which was the prequel, which explained where the Cylons came from, and they canceled it, and then they just took the second season, shoved it into a 5-minute montage at the end of the show. It was so garbage. But I think they're gonna reboot it. So I think we're probably gonna get
tired of you think you go re. It's like you're stuck in a loop. I'm so tired of being stuck in a loop. I'm so tired of reboots to everything. It's like, and then Disney with their live action, versions of the anime. I'm just stop. You know what's gonna be this era is gonna be known as the era with no imagination. It's like our kids. When we were kids, the reason the 80s was so cool was because everything was new. They were inventing new products. They were inventing new shows. Everything was awesome and new. And these kids today, they're just watching rehashes of everything. There's no imagination. There's no creativity. And the thing is, there is. It's out there. They just are too damn lazy to go and find it. That's what it is. What do we have that we own that we can, strip mine some more?
I think it's because the bean counters are in charge now. It used to be that, you had creatives that kind of ran the ship somewhat, and then the bean counters were kind of along for the ride. You look at Disney, Walt obviously ran the ship, and his brother was the bean counter, and they made it work. So you always had this yin and yang between creative and economics.
That's part of it, but I also think that the younger people today and stuff, they want to watch the older shows because they were good. And so the takeaway isn't, hey, let's make new shows that are as good. The takeaway has become, well, let's just make more of those because that's what they want to watch. But they want to watch them because they were actually good then.
Well, it's like our daughter started watching Friends. I'm like, God, that was on when I was in freaking high school.
Yeah, our son, like I said, Office, Community, Parks and Rec. I mean, those aren't that old, but they grew up watching the old 80s shows and stuff too, the old 80s cartoons. And it's like, I think they go back to those because the younger people are watching those because that's back when the shows were good. They don't want the reboots. They want the old stuff or new things. Steven Universe, things like that were new. They want new things.
I think what's going on is almost like there's American pop culture has an identity crisis. It's like a record. And we've talked about this before. I know we had Aaron Sparrow on before, and we talked about this where we're playing the record and we got to a place on the record where it's just skipping.
It's a song 1985.
Yeah, we talked about before where we got to the 20 teens, and if you really look 10 or 15 years ago, it's almost like pop culture and fashion and even music to some degree, it all just stopped evolving.
Now it just all keeps trying to go back.
Now we're going backwards. So it's almost like a roller coaster where you go for Expedition Everest. You go forward, then you've run out of track, and now we're going backwards. And it feels like pop culture kind of peaked in the 80s, 90s, and now we're just rehashing everything.
Yeah, they already have those shows. Now we're in an era where that's on TV all the time on Netflix and streaming services. They can watch those shows whenever. Those aren't going to go away. What they need to do is make new shows, new things, create things. Just stop rehashing everything. Just create new things. I'm so tired. If we made a list of all the reboots, we'd be here for an hour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just reboots, reimaginings, rethinking. Speaking of NBC Universal and reboots, now we speculated before and we got a lot of a lot of shit for that.
We
But
get a lot of shit for a lot of things. So what?
we speculated that She-Ra might be done on Netflix. Speaking
Still
of,
haven't had a renewal announcement.
I don't think she's coming. But it's very possible because they're pushing her in the parks now. It's possible that Universal decides to bring her to Peacock. I think. Now, I don't know if it was like a joint venture between Netflix or and Universal or DreamWorks, which I can't keep track of all these companies. So
Well, DreamWorks is Universal.
it is Universal. So NBC, Universal, and DreamWorks are all the same thing. They're promoting her in the theme parks. So it might be that they do more She-Ra, but it goes to Peacock and not Netflix. I just putting that out there because I just wanted to talk about She-Ra.
Costume still looks like it's made out of foam. Like, like foam.
It does.
Just like the show.
So yeah, it's made out of foam. So I don't know, but I don't foresee Netflix, especially with NBC Universal being a potential competitor. I do not see Netflix renewing She-Ra at this point.
So my sister and nephew were just down there, and they thought it would be hilarious to get a picture with her to send to me. And they did.
Yeah.
But they said she was really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean...
They said she looks better in person than she does in the show. So there's that.
Well, there's that.
But they went and did it to be smart, Alex. I was like,
Said to Kiki. So Kiki's got her own personal picture of She-Ra. We need to get you down there to actually pose with She-Ra.
I don't know if that'd be a good idea.
So I don't know. This just sounds like a dumpster fire. This whole concept sounds like a dumpster fire.
I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of. We already saw these shows. I don't want to see these shows 30 years later. I just don't want to. Or how many years later is it now? I don't even know. I just don't want to see them again. I already saw them once. I want to watch them. I'll go back and watch them. And I want to see new things. I want to see creativity. And now, if you want to see new things and creativity, you go on the internet.
Yeah, pretty much until they shut down the internet because these companies, they're like kind of constantly out there attacking indie creators, YouTubers, with their media outlets, and I think they're trying to control what people consume.
And you can see cool new things on YouTube. You can see cool new things in web comics. You can see, indie comics. You can see cool new things. There's lots of stories out there. There are so many things that could be made into amazing shows, but they're not going to take a chance on them because they're just too chicken or they're just too, myopic or nearsighted. I don't know. They really need to start making new things. You want to be the 80s, but by being the 80s, what you're doing is you're rehashing the 80s isn't making you the 80s. All it's doing is rehashing the 80s. If you want to be the 80s, you need to be inventive. You need to be creative. You need to think outside the box. And I don't know if they're capable of doing this.
No, and it's just a bad copy. It's a bad carbon copy of... Yeah, pretty much. It's a copy of a copy of a copy. So I don't think this sounds very promising, but this is coming out about the same time as Warner Media's HBO Max. So again, we've taken all the TV networks and we've just moved them over to streaming at this
pretty
point.
much. That's what they're going to be.
It's the same old thing. It's and then Netflix is going to be like another competitor, like a CW or whatever.
Right.
And then you're the big
the
three.
Same thing all over again. I think we're tired of it.
Everybody's getting tired. But there you go. Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell.
And Battlestar Galactica again.
And Spunky Brewster.
Stop it. Should we tell him why you keep saying that? See, there was a skunk that lives outside, and he kept calling the skunk, what did you call the skunk?
Skunky Brewster.
Skunky Brewster. But he couldn't remember that's what he called the skunk. So then he started saying Spunky Brewster. I'm like, no, that is something completely different than what you were saying. And I'm like, that means something way, 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 way different. And if you're the skunk that's doing that, you're calling animal control. And now he thinks it's hilarious to use it whenever he can in a conversation. Apparently,
I'm sure there's a dirty movie out there with that title.
I doubt it. There will be now.
I want royalties. I get royalties on that.
I don't know. I can't take him anywhere. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants here on Clownfish TV. And don't forget, these are for sale because of the shill.
Yeah, now they're not going to be out for a few weeks because I have to pre-order them and I have to order the fabric and it has to be shipped in and everything else. And then I have to make them all because I hand make all of them.
So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.